Hey guys, Jamie for Jet Coaching. Today we've got a simple strength circuit for you. This session is adapted from a session by a coach by the name of Brad Stulberg, and it first appeared in Outside magazine, which is a magazine in the US several years ago. We've added some variations and additions. This session requires some equipment, but as per the adaptations that we'll go through in a moment, can be completed at home with very minimal equipment. The session's designed to be completed 2 or 3 times a week, so you could do just this session alone and add in your variations and create quite a well-rounded strength program. And it's suitable for day-to-day people, everyday athletes, as well as endurance sport enthusiasts. We recommend that you do our daily 5 circuit and full body foam roll, something along those lines as a bit of a warm-up to lead into this session. And as always, if you've got any physio recommendations or activation exercises that you've been advised to do, then complete those as part of your warm-up as well. So the circuit has 7 exercises in it. It's a full body session, and then you complete that circuit 2 to 3 times through. The idea of this session is that you can progress it over time, so you can actually progress that to be doing some quite heavy lifting and short repetitions, but as always start with high repetitions and a lower weight, and as always remind yourself that quality of movement is going to be critical for optimizing adaptations. So for this video we are going to demonstrate 1 round. So we're going to go through each exercise once. So there's 7 exercises in total. We'll go through that 1 round and advise of some coaching cues for each. First thing is to note that the very first exercise in the original session is actually a pull-up. So if you have a pull-up bar, great, or somewhere where you can complete pull-ups, whether it's hanging from one of the trusses in the roof or something like that. Otherwise, there's a few variations. The first variation is just simply getting a TheraBand and attaching it to the door handle or anything, and getting yourself set up in a position similar to a pull-up. Obviously, pull-up would be here, but getting yourself in that position and then just using the resistance of the band and completing the pull-ups in this fashion. Otherwise, I'm going to do a bent over row, and even with that, there's weighted bent over row, or you can use a band. So let's get started. Our 7 exercises are a pull-up or the variation, so bent over row. We're going to do 6 reps. Then we're going to go into a goblet squat, which is obviously a form of squatting, and do 8 reps. Then we're going to do a core or torso-based exercise, which I will demonstrate what I call a core twist and reach, and we're going to go 6 to 8 reps each side. But with this exercise in particular, it's a great opportunity to vary what you're doing, whether that's within the session or as you complete more versions of the session, you can add in different exercises and experiment with them. So other examples might be a plank or a dead bug, those sorts of exercises, or a rollout, for example. Then we're going to go into a lunge, 8 reps on each side. Then into push-ups, 12 to 16 reps of those. Obviously there's different variations of push-ups. Then we're going to go bent knee calf raise or skipping, and we're going to do bent knee calf raise today, 8 reps on each side. Then we're going to go single leg deadlift, 8 reps on each side, and that's our 7 exercises. We'll then complete 2 to 3 rounds, really focusing on holding your form and your quality of movement. So if in doubt, do less repetitions with high quality of movement, and then track your progression over time. As I said earlier, you can really get into this session and start lifting some heavier weights or moving bands with much stronger resistance over time, but always start with the focus on great form. Okay, so first exercise would be a bent over row. So similar to if we're pulling up, setting up for our pull-up variation, We want to have our back nice and flat, and we want to be folding at the hips and try and have that chest parallel to the ground. So if you're using your band, you set up like this, and then you're just squeezing between the shoulder blades, and you're going to do your 6 reps from here. Okay, I'm going to use the weight and show you that you basically set up the same, back flat, setting from here, squeezing, 6 reps. Don't forget to breathe. Slow and controlled movement. Okay, exercise number 1 done. Then we go goblet squat. You can use any form of weight. Again, it could be light right through to heavy. Goblet squat means that you're holding the weight up around neck height. So you can use a dumbbell, some weights, you could use a carton of milk, all sorts of different things, whatever you've got hanging around. I'm going to have my legs just wider than shoulder width apart. Toes at about a 35-40 degree angle, and then I'm going to make sure my weight goes straight down, so I'm going to sit straight down for 8 reps, keeping your chest up, head up, relax through the shoulders, pushing straight up through the heels for 8 reps. Now I've got my feet a little bit wider, just because that asks a little bit more of the adductors, and especially for endurance sport athletes, we're just used to going straight lines. So often our medial structures and our lateral structures get neglected. So next exercise, this is our core variation. So today, what I call a core twist. So first variation is having your knees at about a 45 degree angle, same with your feet, your heels planted, and we're going to twist using our spine as the axis, and then we're going to come across and reach. That is 1 rep. So from touching behind you to reaching up is 1 rep. So we do 6 to 8 on each side, and then we swap sides. Twisting, reaching, trying to keep the back flat and straight, also at about a 45 degree angle, and twisting through the spine as our axis. The advanced version of that is to actually come up into a hover, so your feet aren't actually touching the ground, and then completing the same movement, trying to keep those hips nice and still. Show you the other side. Okay, exercise number 3. Next one, we're going into lunge. So what we're going to do is you can do a forward lunge, or you can do a backwards lunge. Either is fine. Again, mix it up. One set do one way, other set do the other way. You can even add in some side lunges, which is again really great for endurance sport athletes who are used to going in straight lines, because it challenges the body in different planes. So I'll do forward lunge. If you've got a weight, you can either have them side by side or up around the chest, like we did in the goblet squat. And then if you are holding it up, you can move the weight as you lunge as well. 8 reps each side, total of 16 reps. We'll show all variations. That was a forward lunge, this is a backward lunge. Lateral lunge. there. We're going to go in the push-up. So we're going to go 12 to 16 reps of these. Now we're going to set up hands underneath shoulders, back nice and flat. The easier version is to have your knees on the ground, and then we're just going slowly down, pushing back up, like so. And then we go full push up, is like so. Same movement. See, asking a little bit more of the chest and shoulders with this version. Go as low as you can whilst holding great form, but again, don't be afraid to start with the simpler version and then advance up to that. Also with push-ups you can have hands wider, hands closer, hands at different points on the mat, which is all going to change the load. Next we're going to go bent knee calf raise. Okay, so holding something for balance on one leg, slight bend in the knee over your toes, and then squeezing and coming up. The other option you might want to add for this is some skipping, but nothing wrong with simply doing 8 calf raises on each side. If you've got some weights handy, you can always add a little bit of weight for this one to add a little bit of load. Change sides. Try not to let your knee collapse in. So again, if you're doing this in front of a mirror or a window, you can really check your form, not only on your calf raises, but on every exercise. Alright, our final exercise, single leg deadlift. So, there's a few versions of this you can do with or without a weight, first and foremost, but for all of them we're setting up on one leg, and then we're basically keeping a slight bend in that knee and just folding over at the hip and coming back through. Option to add a knee drive at the end of the movement. Let's go 6 to 8 on each side. Now you can have a short kickback, which is what I'm doing now, so the back leg is quite short, or you can go long kickback, like so. Short kickback is a little bit easier, long kickback changes the dynamic of the movement a little bit. Alternatively, you can also reach down with the weight. I find using a weight helps counter it a little bit, but again it is technically harder with the weight. So start with a movement that's appropriate to you and your level. Switching legs now, showing you a different angle. 6 to 8 on each side. Adding the drive there really engages glutes. So again, mix it up and use those options as alternates for sessions to add some variation, but also to add progression. And that's it, that's one round. We've got our 7 exercises, full body workout, options for variations and also progression. So we started with a pull-up or a bent over row, 6 reps. Then we went to goblet squat for 8 reps, core twists and reach for 6 to 8 reps on each side. But you can vary and add in your own exercises in there, but don't forget to include exercises that are going to challenge you. Don't just do the ones that you like. Then we went into lunges and we showed you 3 different variations of those. You can do those with or without weight. Straight into our push-ups, on the knees, or in full push-up position, and then changing the position of our hands to vary the load. Bent knee calf raise for 8 reps on each side with or without weight. You could add load by doing that off a step as well. And then we went into single leg deadlift for 8 reps on each side. Showed you 2 or 3 different variations there with regards to that leg that's kicking back, whether you're adding weight, and also whether you reach for the ground or not. So that's one round. You do that 2 to 3 rounds. Focus on your quality of movement, holding good form. Enjoy. Good luck. Cheers.